Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, welcome back to the DCL podcast, your podcast to help you and your family cruise a little smarter and maybe win at trivia. And joining me tonight in our little DCL 101 mini episode, back for, I don't know how many times he's been on the show, but I do appreciate it every time you come on. Welcome back to the show, Chad in Wisconsin. How you doing today, Chad?
Really, really good. Happy to be back.
Getting ready for another vacation, the summer of vacations, huh?
It's the way summers are. I've got a love-hate thing with summers because it's sometimes it's so busy sometimes, but you always get to do some neat things that you don't get to do other times of the year. So
that is so
take
true.
The good with the bad.
That is so true. All right, we are going to turn our focus on trivia, which, we talk about trivia all the time on the podcast. Talk about winning trivia. Sometimes some people win trivia and win the medals, and people can't see it, but you had your winner medal on. What trivia did you win, Chad?
So we've done a few. I think the one that I know for sure we've won before is the Disney Cruise Line trivia, which I think we're going to talk about a little bit tonight. We've won I feel like a 90s music one, maybe like a movie themes one, maybe something else, but there's a really wide variety of ones for everybody. The ones that we seem to not do well at are like the Disney themes, because people just jump on those, man, is way quicker than I can snap on those things. But a really wide variety of movies and music and Disney and things like that. So tons of variety for everybody to win at.
Yeah, so trivia is not just to the Disney ships. It's it's around on all the different cruise ships. And I remember when we were on Norwegian, we were like going through the music trivia and everything like that. So it started in the 70s and went to the 80s. And we're like, we are going to do, I think it was like the 60s. It was 60s, 70s. We're like, we couldn't wait for the 80s. We were like, we're going to get the 80s and the 90s. And we still lost on that. So it's amazing how good people are. I think we do better overall, Anawik and I, just general trivia than we do on Disney trivia. Disney, there's just too many people that know too much about Disney.
I find the ones that are the 80s and 90s music ones tend to be the ones that are the busiest too, because it was, as far as like the ages of the clientele, people are thinking, hey, all right, this is my wheelhouse and this is where I can win. And you wind up competing against a lot of people. Yeah,
well, and the Norwegian one, we were over in the Baltic, and so they added like 3 or 4 songs that were like popular in Europe during the 80s and stuff, and they were songs that none of us had even heard before. We're like, I did not know that song. It was like something from Finland or something like that. Anyway, so trivia. What is true? Trivia is generally, it runs about like half an hour. They have it around the lounges of the ship. They also have it usually in the D lounge. That's usually where they do the family trivia. And there's nothing really different between the adults or the family trivia or anything like that. It's just maybe who they're kind of trying to attract or give something to do at that time of the night and whatnot. And the D lounge trivia tends to be generally during the day. Have you done the family trivia? Oh, well, we did it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. So we did what was it that we did? Like it was a Disney Parks trivia. That's right. Yeah, because that was the one where we messed up the year of the Walt Disney World open or whatever, which was unbelievable that we missed that bit. Shocking, but oh well.
I know we subtracted 50 from 2021 and it didn't quite come out that way.
No, right? So I think we subtracted from 2022 because it should have been 71 instead of 72 or something like that. Yeah. Oh well.
Anyway, so there's trivia in the D lounge for families, and we found that. So Andrew, our oldest, is 16. He can pass for 18. I mean, he looks old enough, so he's come with us to some of the like adult trivias and whatnot. And actually, Kristen, the concierge, and Andrew and I went to Disney Cruise Line trivia, and we are going to give you guys the opportunity tonight, or whenever you listen to this podcast, to answer these questions and see how you do, just kind of for the fun of it. But before we jump into that, what can you win, Chad?
Fabulous prizes.
Free cruise.
Yeah. Tell them what you win. No. So the prizes really vary. It depends on kind of what the inventory that they have on the ship is, things like that. I remember the first time that we played, I think we walked away with keychains and luggage tags. Other times we've won. We've got these fancy Mickey medals, which I think somebody at one point had told me that once upon a time these were the Castaway 5K medals or something like that. Was the running rumor that there was for a while, and they had a ton of these things for inventory, and then they started using them for trivia. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyway, so yeah, most of the time you'll wind up seeing people walking around with these red ribbons that say winner on them, and they've got like a Mickey head with a Disney Cruise Line kind of logo in the middle. And that's how you know somebody won at trivia on the ship. That's kind of the biggest giveaway.
Like overall, they're not like overly, how do I say this the right way without, I mean, it's like, it's not, I'm not really, how do I say it the right way? I mean, it's pretty generic looking.
They are. So to be clear, the medals, like the Castaway Key ones, those are rubber. So just like these are, it makes them durable, I guess. So no worries about like dropping them on your foot and hurting yourself. But yeah, they're pretty generic looking. They don't, they're not themed to like the trivia that you won or anything like that.
Yeah, they don't stand out like the Run Disney medals do these days. But I will say that the trivia medals are some of the hardest medals to win. And there are a lot of people that have tried to play a lot of trivia. And the only time that we won, well, other than just recently, and we didn't even get medals this time because they didn't have medals. They ran out of them. So we got a book, a cup, a luggage tag, and a DVC bag. I guess they had some old DVC bags because it was like an ancient looking logo on the outside of that bag. They must have found that. It was like, hey, what's that box over in the corner down there in the bottom part of the ship? So
they probably found that during quarantine and needed to figure out what to do with it once they got the ships going again.
I know. Let's give it away to the passengers that are doing trivia. But I will say that those medals are some of the hardest medals to win. So we won that, and then the other one that Anna Wick and I won. There's only 3 groups of us. And I can't even remember what it was. We only got 14 right, and somehow we won. So generally, especially on the bigger ships or the busy ships, so if you've got busy trivia times going, you're going to have some serious competition. I mean, generally, you're going to need somewhere. You're probably going to need to maybe miss 1, maybe 2 at the most to be able to win, especially on the Dream and the Fantasy. I think the Dream on those 3 days and 4 days, it's just some serious competition there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the tip also is, especially for those ones, like I mentioned, those music ones that sort of fall in the demographic with 80s and 90s and things like that, show up early, especially if you want a decent seat and stuff like that. Be there at least 15 minutes early, 30's even better. Grab a drink, kind of before the rush starts, because it gets packed in some of those venues, especially on the Dream and Fantasy when they're doing it in either, was it O'Gill's or 687? Those things get really, really busy, and they're not as big as what you get on the classic ships at O'Gill's and Crown and Fin.
Yeah, good point there. Matter of fact, Andrew and I were going to go and do, I can't remember what it was, like some type of trivia. It was down in the D Lounge. So it was like family trivia. And we got there like 3 or 4 minutes before it was supposed to start, and we could not get a seat. It was completely packed. And so we went down for the Disney Cruise Line trivia. It was down in O'Gill's. And we got there like 20 minutes early, and then we were like the first ones in. There like nothing going on. We were like, oh man, it's going to be a rush at the end. And it ended up, I think there's probably about 15, 20 people at the end, but it was nothing like that. So your results may vary. But if you're on the Dream, I know the Dream cruises for sure, they tend to fill up really fast. And good point on going to O'Gill's pub there, or O'Gill's pub on the Fantasy. All right. What do you think? Should we jump into it? Anything? Oh, you know what? The other thing I guess I want to say is the cruise staff that does the trivia tend to be some of the funniest ones that we've been able to experience.
Yeah, they're generally pretty hilarious. They'll try to work the crowd a little bit. In the same way that you get with the bingo people, because the bingo people are always really animated and stuff like that, really trying to kind of get you going. I agree. Those folks are really top notch, and you'll see them running a lot of different events, but they really shine during things like bingo and trivia.
Yeah, Tisa. Have you met Tisa? She was on.
No. I remember I saw you talking about her the other day, and I don't think I've had the chance to sail with her yet.
She's amazing. She's like one of those people that like everything that she says, you got to listen to everything she says, because every word's got a meaning behind it, and you're missing things if you miss like half of what she says as far as like the humor and everything else. So, all right, well, let's jump into it. We are going to do Disney Cruise Line trivia tonight. We'll go through all 20 questions, and then we'll go over the answers at the end. Chad, you want to play for sure?
Yeah, I'm going to play along here. So,
all right, Chad, we're going to go back and forth on the questions. We'll give it a little bit of time in between the questions, and maybe throw out some thoughts on the questions as we kind of go through it. I didn't write them down when I was on board, but I think I got the gist of it. And Andrew helped me out with all 20 of them. I know I got the right answers, and I know I got a question that goes with those answers. And I think this is basically how they asked them. I should have actually recorded it as he was talking, but I was like, it's 30 minutes or so. Really didn't want to go through. All right. So we'll go through all 20 questions, and then we'll go through the answers after. And Chad and I are just going to tag team back and forth. So have fun playing at home. Good luck. Fortunately, we can't get you that winner medal, whoever's going to win it on this podcast, but I'd love to hear in the Facebook post if you end up playing along how you did on this trivia. We ended up getting 20. There's a possibility there's 20 questions, but 3 of them have 2 answers to them. So We actually got all 23, believe it or not, which I've never ever done. And we got lucky because we guessed it like 3 or 4 of them. So, all right, let's start with question number 1. And we'll say that since we're on the Magic, some of these are more Magic focused. So just be aware of that. And they kind of do that along the cruise lines as far as whatever ship you're on. They kind of focus it on or they can focus it on the different ships. And the other thing too is if they do Disney Cruise Line trivia twice, they will have different questions at each one of the trivia. It won't be the same one. So you can't go to the first one and think that, we'll go to the second one and I know what the questions are going to be. They're going to be a little bit different. Have you ever tried that or seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
He was talking about the guy that ran it was kind of talking about. I was like, these are going to be different questions. So if you came to the first time, you're not necessarily going to know what these are. All right. So if I'm
probably makes sense because otherwise you'd have people coming back trying to dominate the next group and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. If I'm babbling tonight, I'm sorry. I'm like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. So let's see how we get through this. All right. Question number 1. What is the name of the snack station on the Disney Magic named after a Pixar character? I'll give you just a couple seconds on this one. And when you're ready, jump in with question number 2.
All right. Question number 2. Disney Cruise Line falls under what segment of the Walt Disney Company?
So there's different, segments like parks and resorts and some other different things. What is the segment that Disney Cruise Line falls under for the Walt Disney Company? Ready, Chad?
Yep.
All right. You must have known that one. All right. What is the name of the 1980s movie which was partially filmed on Castaway Cay? So I think this is like one of the first movies when they had the Touchstone. There's one of those first movies when they under Michael Eisner when they went to Touchstone and was doing a little bit more adult comedies.
Mm-hmm.
Give you a little hint there. All right, go for it.
All right, next one. Question number 4. Name the adult area found on the Disney Dream and Fantasy that includes a fountain. And that's the key part of it.
You got that one already?
Yeah.
All right. You've been on all 4 ships now, right? Because the Wonder was the last one.
Yeah, Wonder was the final one. Although I'm struggling to remember. There may be. Well, we can talk about it when we get to the answers.
All right. What is the summer home port of the Disney Wonder? So, what port does the Disney Wonder sail out of during the summer?
Okay. Question number 6. Although Mariah Carey is the godmother of the Disney Fantasy, who was the host of Disney Fantasy's christening in 2012?
So a little bit different to today. They had the Wishes christening. Yeah, they had the Wishes christening, and I don't know if anybody really hosted it. Did they? I don't know. Was Josh D'Amaro the host, or?
Yeah, I guess you're right. There was really no one host. I guess that was out there. It
was just like a voice from above.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the Disney Wishes christening.
I was surprised because I think that there was some speculation of some folks that had starred in Disney shows and stuff in the past that were around the Orlando area around that time but didn't wind up being it.
All right. What is the name of the family venue which is found on the first 4 ships? What's the name of the family venue where you can do trivia? It's found on the first 4 ships, and I think it's on the Wish, and I can't remember if they have it.
Not if it's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay. No, you're right. Yeah. No, you're right. All right. We may have given that away. All right. Whenever you're ready.
All right. We are on question number 8. Yes. All right. So on which 2 ships can you find O'Gill's Pub?
And I will give one hint away from all these. The Wish is not included in any of these questions.
Yeah. So. Good point.
All right. What is the name of the giant television where families watch movies and shows on the main pool decks? What is the name of that giant television where you can sit up there and watch Moana, or maybe, I don't know, the Denver Broncos playing the Super Bowl if you happen to be on a Super Bowl cruise?
Man, I hope so.
With Russell Wilson. Janelle's going to be excited about that.
That's right.
Watching the Broncos up there. All right. Question number 10.
Number 10. Disney Cruise Line visited what U.S. port for the first time in 2020?
This is one of the ones I wasn't sure of. So I had to guess on this one a little bit.
This is one I might need to think about this one a little bit. I think I might be wrong here, but I feel like I should know that.
I don't want to give too many hints away, but that was like right before COVID too. So
yeah,
2020 is when COVID hit.
Yep.
All right. Question number 11. Here's the 2-part questions. What are the names of the 2 water slides that you can ride on the Disney Magic? There are 2 water slides that you can ride on the Disney Magic. What are those names? Question number 2. The next question is one of those ones that always throws me off a little bit. So I forget what's on what. But we'll get to that when you get to it.
Okay. Number 12. What award-winning Broadway-style show first debuted on Disney Dream in 2017?
This is the one that always throws me off. I forget what's on what ship and what.
Yeah.
Toy Story the musical. We saw that. That was the very first one we saw on the Wonder, and people either loved it or hated that show. And I don't remember much about it.
I never had the chance. to see it, but it's been. I feel like I've heard more poor reviews than good reviews for it.
I know. There wasn't much to the stage. Most of the shows have pretty elaborate sets, and all I remember was the big blocks, and then the toys wandered around. So the answer is not Toy Story the musical. So as I go on my side, go spinning off into the side here. All right. Question number 13. What are the names of the 2 ships that sailed out of Port Canaveral year round until the Wish set sail today? Today is June 29th, 2022. The Disney Wish set sail on her first. I think it's the Good Morning America cruise that she's on.
Yeah, I think it's Media and the Good Morning America prize winners.
Okay, but before that, what 2 ships sailed out of Port Canaveral year round?
Okay, so next one, question 14. What is the name of the adult-themed music lounge found on the Disney Magic?
I don't know if this is the one that I struggled with the question. Does that make sense?
Okay, I don't want to give away. I don't want to give away too much, right? With what my thinking was, I was going more towards one of the adult areas that specifically is themed around something.
Yes, that is it. It's in the adult areas. I will say that. So I can't remember exactly how that was the one that I struggled with. I'm not sure exactly how they asked that, but it is in the adult entertainment district or whatever they call it on the Magic. All right, what city and country are the Disney ships flagged under? What city and country? You see the flag flying out there in the back. It's my kids, I remember when they were younger, what flag is that, Dad? And I'm like, well, let's find out. Let's ask the Google.
All right. Number 16. What is the name of the first ever aqua coaster at sea?
You have 2 choices on this one. So if you get it right. All right. What are you excited about the Aqua Mouse?
I'm more excited about it than I think I was when it was first announced. I think the thing that gets me excited about it is I think it's going to be longer. So it sounds like it's about 2.5 minutes or something like that. I'm excited the fact that with the theming and the screens that they're going to have in there, that I think they're going to be able to keep that fresh with new things and things like that over time. I think it's a neat concept.
I agree with you on that. Especially if they retheme it during the specialty cruises like Star Wars, if they had Star Wars or
holiday or Halloween would be amazing. Yeah,
very merry time. All right, question number 17. This is gonna be a tough one, I think. What is the name of the food venue on the Magic that replaced Pete's Boiler Bites? So they replaced it. What is the name now on the food venue on the Magic up on deck 9?
Ooh.
This is a tough one. And I didn't get this one. Andrew got this one. He was up on deck 9, I guess, more than I was.
So question 18, Apollo is themed after what country? For those that are new to the Disney Cruise Line, so Apollo is one of the adult-only restaurants. That's a separate charge, so it's not part of rotational dining, but it is themed after a certain country.
I think you got that one pretty easily.
Yeah, that one I can get.
All right. In what year did the Disney Dream start sailing for Disney Cruise Line? What year did she first start sailing for Disney Cruise Line? And this last one's a tough one too for me. I can never remember this last one.
All right. And then the last one, on which ship can you fly the Millennium Falcon in the Kids Club? So there's a few ships that have Star Wars themed areas, but only one of them has the Millennium Falcon.
Right. All right. You ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right.
Let's see how. So some of these I know I got wrong because of some of the questions later on. I was like, oh wait, that can't be right anymore. Because for instance, for question number 1, I was thinking about Pete's Boiler Bites. But number 1, Pete's Boiler Bites isn't Pixar themed. Now that I think more about it,
right?
and you mentioned that hey, it's gone now. So I guess I got that one wrong.
So yeah, and then I was like, I was double checking to make sure that I had the question right on this, and that's the gist of it. But actually, on the Wonder, I don't know if they have this on the Wonder. It's got a different name, but I think it's on the Wonder too. Anyways, maybe I just looked wrong on the deck plan, but I think it's on all four ships. All right. So the question number one: what is the name of the snack station on the Disney Magic named after a Pixar character? Frozone's Frozen Treats. So that's usually located.
Is that different from the ice cream?
Yeah, it's usually right next to the ice cream, and then they have those like that's when you can get. Oh man, why can't I?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And then they also have like some kind of alcoholic stuff and some
I
other
believe I've gotten
things.
an IPA or two from that spot before.
Yeah. So Frozone's Frozen Treats. All right, number two. Disney Cruise Line falls under what segment of the Walt Disney Company? Do you know?
I had Parks and Experiences.
It's Signature Experiences.
No.
Yeah, and it just changed. I think they used to be under Parks and Resorts, but it recently changed. I don't know how long ago, but now it's Signature Experiences, and that includes Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, and I'm not sure if there's something else underneath there or not. DVC, I think, might be underneath that.
I think it may be, yeah.
So, anyways, Signature Experiences. All right, I think you got this next one. What is the name of the 1980s movie, which was partially filmed by Castaway Cay?
Splash,
yeah. Daryl Hannah, the mermaid. All right, question number four. Name the adult area found on the Disney Dream of Fantasy that includes a fountain.
So I put Satellite Falls, which I believe is probably where they were going with this, but I swear there's some sort of fountain also in the Cove area on the Dream and Fantasy too. Like a little something is there, like a little splash, or maybe it's like more like a spray station, but I feel like there's something there.
They're like right up above it. There's like a little pool, and I'm not sure if it's got a fountain in it because Christy talks about Blake playing around.
I was thinking like over in like the little waiting area because they got like the ankle deep area and stuff over there close to the bar. I thought there was something over there. I'm sure the answer to this is actually Satellite Falls because that's the more traditional fall thing. But yeah,
it is Satellite Falls. And once again, I may have not had the question exactly perfectly the way they asked it. So that was just it. But the answer they had on that one was Satellite Falls. All right.
Yep.
Question number five. What is the summer home port of the Disney Wonder?
Alaska.
Yeah. Well, no, the home port. So what port does she sail from?
Oh, sorry. Vancouver. Oh,
Vancouver. Man. Yeah.
That was here. I started jotting down answers quickly when I started reading the questions and then read too fast.
All right. So this one, I totally guessed on this one. And Nick and Andrew were like totally impressed when I got this one right, but this is total luck. All right. Although Mariah Carey is the godmother of the Disney Fantasy, who was the host of the Disney Fantasy's christening in 2012?
Yeah, I didn't get this when you asked this to me earlier in the week, so I won't take any credit for it. But Neil Patrick Harris.
Yep, Neil Patrick Harris. I was like, man, I had no idea, but I knew that he's like a total Disney like fan and everything. I wasn't sure if he was old enough then, but then I was like, I can't remember when Doogie Howser was out. What was that, like 90s?
Oh, you ever watch that show? Yeah, early 90s, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was pretty young then, so I was like, okay, well, 2012, I guess it could be it. But it was Neil Patrick Harris was the host of the Disney Fantasy Christening. All right, what is the name of the family venue which is found on the first four ships?
So I had the D Lounge for this.
Yep.
So, and that's where you were asking, hey, I think it's on the Wish too. I think that's now been replaced by Luna though, yeah?
Yeah, actually, when I asked that, and you said, I don't think so, or however you said it, was like, oh yeah, that's right, it's that Luna place. So
yeah, which that place looks really impressive with the sort of the 2-level, seating, and then the big screen. I think they're going to be able to do a lot of neat things in that space.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that as well. All right, here we go. Since we're in O'Gillis tonight, on which two ships can you find O'Gillis Pub?
The Fantasy and the Magic. No.
Yes, you're right. The Fantasy and the Magic. Right. Sorry, I was thinking.
The look on your face, it like was giving me like I'm like, did I get that wrong? I can't believe I got that wrong.
No, because I was trying to think of like what the name of the pub is on the Wonder. So it's 687.
Crown and Fin.
687 on the Dream, which is the number of the ship, and then they get the history of the ship, and then the Crown and Fin on the Wonder. Okay, so Gil's on the other two. All right, what is the name of the giant television where families watch movies and shows on the main pool decks?
One of my favorite places to be, watching the Funnel Vision.
Funnel Vision, there you go. All right, Disney Cruise Line visited what U.S. port for the first time in 2020?
I am guessing on this one. I put New Orleans.
You got it, New Orleans.
Oh, right.
I know. I was like, okay, it was like right. So COVID started in March, and then they stopped sailing. So like, what was coming? Like, I thought that they'd gone to New Orleans before then, but Yeah, it
I
was
was
New
thinking
Orleans.
maybe I missed it by a year, but then I couldn't think of any other new ports that they may have been in the US in that time. So that's where I was like, well, that's probably the newest one I can think of.
All right. What are the names of the two water slides that you can ride on the Disney Magic?
On the Disney Magic is the Aqua Dunk and the Twist and Spout.
Twist and Spout. And it, I don't even, so my kids wrote it so long ago, but is the Twist and Spout on every one of, is that the same name on all the ships?
I don't think so. I think so. Those are the two that they've replaced on the two classic ships. I feel like the other ones are called something else, but I don't know that. I can't say that for 100% certain.
I swear people
The nice part is because I think the two that are on the Dream and Fantasy, I think adults aren't allowed on those ones, but they are allowed on the Twist and Spout because there really aren't any other water slide options, I think, and they built it for adults to be able to go down those things. Because I know I've been down it.
I've never ridden on that one, but we did the Aqueduct, which I hadn't done the Aqueduct, and I can't remember the last time we were in the Magic 4 years ago, 5 years, and I hadn't ridden the Aqueduct in that long. And man, if that thing was just like maybe 10 or 15 seconds longer, it would be so amazing. I mean, it's still my favorite ride because I just think like that drop and everything else is. I forgot how fast you got going too.
You get moving pretty good. Now the nice part about it is that you don't have to go up, so there's no danger of you getting stuck in the slide like I've seen in the past. But yeah, it's pretty fun. And to your point, they close you in there, and there's that sort of couple seconds that feels probably a lot longer than it actually is before the floor drops. Right. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I love that ride. Yeah, to your point, when we did our Norwegian cruise, they had two of those slides where you the floor dropped, you went down and you go back up. And it was like, I think it was like if you had the wrong swimsuit on, because a lot of women got stuck on it or something for some reason. They had like a little trap door. So like somebody gets stuck and then one of the cast members or crew members would have to go over there and open the door.
Yep, for sure.
All right, where are we at here? What award-winning Broadway style show? Question number 12. What award-winning Broadway style show first debuted on the Disney Dream in 2017?
It's funny because I have three answers here and I've crossed out the first two. I was like, no, it's not that. No, it's not that. Because I had villains and then I was like, no, it's Tangled. No, wait, Tangled's not on the Dream. It's Beauty and the Beast.
It is Beauty and the Beast. And I always want to say Aladdin for some reason, but it's Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, Aladdin's on the Fantasy.
And to Chris's consternation, it's on the Wish as well.
Yeah.
She was hoping for something new. All right. Question number 13. What are the names of the two ships that sailed out of Port Canaveral year round until the Wish set sail today?
The Dream and the Fantasy.
Good job there. All right. Question number 14. What is the name of the adult themed music lounge found on the Disney Magic?
So I went with Keys. What was the other place you were thinking of?
No, it was Keys. It's Keys. I was started thinking about like, was there something else that was around the ship that they asked it in a different way? But I don't think there is anything else on the ship that.
I think if they're thinking, with how they sort of have that phrase, it feels like it's, adult themed music lounge. I feel like that's kind of the music lounge if you think about it from that standpoint.
Yeah, I like both those lounges, Keys and then the Cadillac Lounge and the Wonder.
Those are neat spots. They've got one of our other favorite things on the board, which is that sommelier bin. It's a great place to stop in there to get a great glass of wine for a pretty inexpensive price.
And good thing you pointed out today that the sommelier bin is making its debut on the Disney Wish in which lounge?
I thought I saw that was in Bayou.
Bayou, yeah, Blue Bayou.
So in the Bayou Lounge. So yeah, pretty excited about that. I'll be there. That's the same place I can also apparently get my beignets, which I loved so much on the Wonder.
Yeah, well, everybody else is having that Kyber Crystal drink for $5,000. I'll be getting my $1.50 beignet and enjoying that.
That was insane. I've got to see somebody order that and find out what this thing is.
Maybe Len Testa will take one for the team and in order.
It must come like in a golden chalice that you get to take home with you or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you're trying to get through security with that, with whatever it is that you get from the Kyber Crystal. All right, where are we at here? Question number 15. What city and country are the Disney ships flagged under?
Nassau, Bahamas.
Nassau, Bahamas. Yep, it's that blue and white flag and a little bit of yellow in it as well. And we gave the name away of this next one. We were talking about it, but that's okay. What is the name of the first ever aqua coaster at sea?
The Aqua Duck.
The Aqua Duck. Duck and dunk get confused sometimes. Question number 17. What is the name of the food venue on the Magic that replaced Pete's Boiler Bites? This is a tough
Boy, I got lost with this. I put a guess down with Daisy's Delights.
It's actually you're close because it is a duck, but it's more Donald theme. It's the Duck and Diner. I know.
Wasn't even on my radar.
It wasn't on my radar either. Andrew came through with us on that one to somehow seal the victory. All right. Palo, question number 18. Palo is themed after what country?
It's themed after Italy, where the two classic ships were built.
And what does Palo mean? Do you know?
It means pole. So it's because it's basically a traditional sort of Venice theme in there. So they've got a lot of different artwork and like masks and things like that are kind of themed towards Venice. So you'll notice like they've got sort of those. I don't know if that's like the word is like candy stripe or whatever it is, but sort of the stripe that sort of goes around the pole and stuff like that. You'll see that in those restaurants.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And it's almost, well, it's not a museum, but it is pretty cool when you get up to the entrance to Palo on the outside of the Wonder of the Magic. They've actually got a couple different like showcases out there where they've got artwork from Italy. And there's actually, they used to have a book when they originally started sailing. They had a book that was like handmade, and every time you went in there, you'd sign in your name and
I think they used to. Well, maybe they got rid of those with COVID, but I feel like I've seen those in the past and have signed those things too. So, and I think those are made by like artisans in Italy and stuff like that, and to make sure there figures out the whole pole theme. So with Venice and the canals, right, you've got the guys in the back that are sort of using the poles, sort of pushing the boats along and stuff like that. That's really what it's themed after.
And you can find out all of that on the Art of the Theme Show Tour. Art of the Theme Show Tour.
Yeah, highly recommend those. They're fantastic. They're included with your cruise. Usually it's kind of like a 1 hour-ish sort of walking tour where they really kind of explain kind of the theme and the artwork and kind of how, there's things that you just won't notice throughout there with, the artwork that's in the stairs. And it's basically like starts, on one level and it sort of completes itself as you work your way up or down. I can't recall which, but really, really neat facts about the ship that you may not otherwise pick up.
Yeah, definitely highly recommend that. All right. So question number 19, in what year did the Disney Dream start sailing for Disney Cruise Line?
2011?
Yeah, I got this one because they said the Fantasy was christened in 2012. So she sailed in 2012. And I knew that the Magic and the Wonder were like a year apart from each other. So I'm like, it's got to be 2011. You're right. It's 2011.
All right.
I think I would have guessed 2010. I mean, my gut would have said 2010, but I went with the fact that the Magic and the Wonder were 1 year apart. But that's not going to happen this time, is it? With the Wish and whatever the next ship is.
No, the next two as well. I think, and part of it is because they had the third ship was added. So I think the two that follow this will be 1 year apart. And was it 23 and 20? No, 24 and 25 are the next two that are coming out. So I think they'll build those consecutively in the same way that Meyer Werft did the Dream and Fantasy. But I think there's a couple other ships I think that are in the hopper between now and then.
What's your best guess for the next ship's name?
I don't know. I know everybody keeps talking enchantment and adventure and stuff like that. I don't know. I still like the premise that maybe, and I know this probably won't be popular with people because everyone loves the Magic, but I just don't know how much longer the two classic ships are going to be around. But so I kind of love the idea of maybe that third new ship kind of being named like the new Magic and kind of the new, showcase ship of the fleet or whatever the term is. I forget. There's a name for that. But I'd kind of love to see the Magic name stick around, even if it's on a new ship and stuff like that.
No, I'm with you there. When the original Magic finally goes away, it'd be cool if they had something to replace it. All right, last question: on which ship can you fly the Millennium Falcon in the Kids Club?
I put the Dream, but I'm not 100% about that.
You're right; it's the Dream. Look at that.
All right,
good. So how'd you do?
It's good. All right, so this one's wrong. That one was wrong technically. I won't take credit for the Alaska Vancouver thing. I got keys. I didn't get this one. So I think I got 26. Well, no, you know what? I can't count the Neil Patrick Harris one either because you gave me that one earlier in the week. So let's call it 25.
All right, there we go.
No, it's 15. Sorry, that's out of 20.
Yeah, I like the way you're rolling with 25.
I got 25 out of 20, Steve.
I know. I was just going through. All right, who got 23? Woo! Wait a minute, I got 25, but there was only 23.
Yeah, I apparently need to brush up on my trivia because I wouldn't have won this time in in the main show.
Oh, trust me, we totally got lucky between the three of us, kind of stumbling in the dark. So wow, we came through with this one. But I thought it was kind of fun to do this. We don't do it probably often enough, but trivia is still like one of my favorite things to do on board the ships.
It is one of our family's favorites too. Our kids don't go to too many of them, but my wife Lynn and I will usually try to go to a few throughout the week, and especially if we find ourselves with a little bit of time. Because the nice part is they're usually kind of stationed kind of around your dining times and the theater times too. So sometimes if you know that you've got like a dinner coming up, there's sometimes like a trivia thing that you can go to prior to dinner. So they kind of space them out in times where you can make multiple things in the evening. So, and then like I mentioned, sometimes they're also going on during port days and things like that. Sometimes those are easier to win at because there's fewer people on board. Just saying. But yeah, they're always a ton of fun, win or lose.
And I totally get, maybe not wanting to be part of the game show sometimes, because we went to a new game show called Seriously, and then we went to Match Your Mate, which I never want to get up there. So we actually played, we did Christie's thing where Anowik and I just played it amongst ourselves to come up with the answers. So we played it, but it was amongst ourselves without embarrassing ourselves up on stage to see how we did and whatnot. So that was kind of fun. But at the very least, trivia, like that's one of those things that if you don't want to be in the spotlight or whatnot, you don't have to be in trivia. You can go out and kind of engage with the crew and everything else. And I think once we started doing that really kind of made the cruises a lot more fun for us.
Yeah, agreed. It's a way to get involved. Sometimes you get to meet a couple new people and stuff like that, and you see people on the ship, and it's a neat experience.
So a couple more tips, I guess. Get out there and do it. And then just to reiterate, especially on those busy cruise sailings, those 3 days and 4 days out of Port Canaveral on the Wish now, I guess. Although we'll see what happens with the Wish. People might be running around trying all the different things, maybe not doing trivia. But in previous sailings, like on the Dream, you want to make sure you get there probably about 5, 10, sometimes even 15 minutes early if you want to make sure you get a seat and be able to play trivia.
Yep, for sure.
So with that, I think we're going to close it out. Before we get out of here, though, Chad, I know you're heading up to the UP tomorrow, Upper Peninsula of Michigan. But what's next for you and your family again for your travels with Disney Cruise Line?
Yeah, our next sailing will be on the Wish coming up in January. So really excited to get a chance at that. As I watched all the stuff today, I was wishing it was coming a lot sooner than January, but that's what we've got booked. But so excited for what we got ahead of us.
Well, cool. Well, thanks again for helping me out and hanging out in our little Made Up O'Gills pub here tonight and helping me out with the little DCL 101 trivia information or trivia knowledge.
Any chance I get to pretend I'm on board, I'll take that every time, Steve.
There we go. And if you did play along with this and want to, if you follow us on Facebook, when we post up this episode, it'd be fun to find out how you did on these. And if you had any thoughts on as far as us coming back and doing some more trivia games for you guys in the future podcast. So once again, thanks for going back and taking a listen. Thanks for coming on and helping me out with this, Chad. And we'll see you next time on the DCL podcast. Good night, everybody. Well, that's going to wrap up our show today. I really want to give a huge shout out to Chad for coming back on and helping me down in O'Gills as we talked a little Disney Cruise Line trivia, a little trivia 101. We are hopefully going to be back on the ship in a couple of weeks, and Anowik and I will try and make it down to trivia. Maybe I'll drag Andrew down there as well, and we will get some trivia questions and come back and play again with you. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you enjoyed this type of episode, and we'll make sure that we get more like it out. Well, if you've enjoyed this episode, you know others who would enjoy it as well. We sure would appreciate it if you pass it along. That helps us get the word spread in the cruising, the Disney cruising, and the podcasting community in general. Also, if you have time to go over to iTunes and leave us a review, we sure do appreciate each and every one of you who have taken the time to do that. Once again, that helps get our show known a little bit better in the podcasting community. We'd like to also give a huge shout out to our Patreon supporters who help bring this show to you each and every week ad-free. If you'd like to find out more about supporting our podcast, you can go to patreon.com/DCL podcast and find out all the information there. Well, Christy and Chris are set to go on the Wish here, hopefully getting on board July 10th, and we will have a bunch of Wish coverage for you coming after and maybe a little bit before and definitely after their sailing. I know there's been a lot of content out there on social media about the Disney Wish. A lot of people are really excited to get on board sailing, and I can't wait to hear their take after they get back from their 3-day sailing. Well, between now and our next show, if you and your family are heading down to the parks, heading out on a Disney cruise, heading over with an Adventures by Disney somewhere over in Europe, or maybe down to California for an Adventures by Disney adventure, on behalf of myself, Steve, Christy, and Chris, all of us here at the DCL podcast, we want to wish you to be well, enjoy time with family and friends, and we'll see you next time on the DCL podcast.
The DCL podcast is not affiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.